What's up, guys? Welcome back to my booktube channel, and today we're going to be talking about the second book in the sequel of Divine Rivals, and this one is called Ruthless Vows. I've heard a lot of people on TikTok and other social media talk a lot about Divine Rivals, but I really haven't heard them talking about Ruthless Vows that much. And Ruthless Vows is just the continuation, so if you haven't read Divine Rivals, I don't recommend you watching this video. But yeah, so let's get right into it. I've read parts 1, 2, and maybe 3. I'm not really sure what part I'm on right now, but it's like halfway. So it starts off where the other book ended. Again, spoiler if you haven't read Divine Rivals. And so Iris, of course, Roman lost his memory as known in the last chapter because they were talking about how Decker used to take people and brainwash them and use them in his army. And so he loses his memory. He now works for DACA as a reporter. And so Iris is back in the Oak, or Oakridge, I forgot what it was called, but she's back in Oak, and Oath, that's what it's called. Oh my gosh. She's back in Oath, and she's still working as a reporter for the Incretin Tribute, and now she lives with her brother. So, but it's kind of awkward because obviously they haven't seen each other in a while, so they're not really that close. Plus, Forrest hides a lot of things from her. He keeps on going to different places, and he doesn't really tell her where he's going, so she's like kind of confused. And again, she keeps her job at the Incretin Tribute, but it's kind of different now because she's just writing about all these meaningless stories, and she can't really put her heart into it because she knows there's literally a whole war going on out there. And so she gets a request from her boss Helena to go back out onto the war front and report on it. And of course she said yes, because then that means she gets to see Roman again. So she's like, okay, yeah, of course, I'll go out. And she goes out again with Addie, and then there's a new character introduced. I already forgot his name, but there's a new character introduced who's kind of like a love interest for Addie a little bit. That's where it seems like it's going. And so they go out to the war front, and she meets Roman. It takes a while. I'm saying it like, oh, she meets Roman, but it takes a while, honestly. She doesn't meet Roman until like page 200 something. And of course, their first meeting was amazing. She was hiding out in one of the buildings, and so Dacker's army was coming in, and he recognized her because he's been having like dreams about Iris, but he doesn't, and he knows that it's Iris, but he doesn't know who Iris is to him, if that makes sense. And of course she's super sad because, wow, he really doesn't remember me, but at the same time, he doesn't remember her, but he still remembers her, if that makes sense. Like, he doesn't know who she is, but he knows that she's familiar. And so of course there's like this whole like forbidden love trope going on, even though it's not really supposed to be forbidden. But they start exchanging letters again because she breaks into the museum to get the first outlet because hers was destroyed. And so she breaks into the museum to get the first outlet, and she starts exchanging letters with Roman again. And so they start to kind of relearn, he starts to relearn things about her, and he ends up giving her notes in a way, because again, he works for Dacker's army. Iris works for Enva, kind of. She doesn't really like work for Enva, but she's technically on Enva's side. And so they start exchanging notes, and he keeps on telling her tips like, hey, Dacker's army's going this way, make sure you don't. And so she uses that to save a bunch of lives and stuff. So that's kind of like the part I'm on right now. It's pretty interesting. If you guys read Divine Rivals and are thinking about reading Ruthless Vows and don't for certain reasons, you should definitely read it. It's really interesting. It took me a while to get into it though, because it was like such a big book, and I was like, I'm not really that interested, but I was really bored, so I decided to. And it's really good, honestly. Again, it keeps up with the writing is still really beautiful. The quotes are amazing. Rebecca Ross is such a phenomenal writer, so if you want to just read more of her writing, then definitely take a look at Ruthless Vows. So yeah, I'll come up with the part 2 of this video next week, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!